they would get a fallen away priest or some minister who was pro-abortion, because they definitely needed to have a sense of justification that what they were doing was not wrong. That was interesting.
Before Tiller was killed and after that meeting, you paid a visit to Wichita once?
Well, Tiller, in our cab ride into New Orleans, had invited me to come to his abortion mill if ever I were in Wichita. So one
This
time,
before he remembered who you were.
Yeah,
But,
right,
all right.
right. So, oh sure, afterwards not. But one time when I was in Wichita, or in Kansas City, I drove down to Wichita and went into his abortion clinic, went all through the rooms, put some flyers in the magazines and so on, and of course had the media with me, and Tiller wasn't there.
Did they follow you into the abortion mill?
They followed me in, yeah. And some of the workers ran out because they didn't want to be on TV. They'd been telling people they worked for a dentist, you know. There's an embarrassment working for an abortionist.
One would
working
think.
at an abortion clinic. And so a lot of
make
these,
my money from shedding innocent blood.
Right.
My hands are covered with blood.
Right.
Here, can I buy your broccoli?
So they did not want to be on TV. So most of the workers there left, and Tiller wasn't there. So we had a nice little interview with the press in front of the clinic. But Tiller was an interesting guy, totally given to abortion. Thought it was absolutely critical that we have legal abortion.
Demonic. There was some level of demonic, satanic, something so dark and sinister there.
It was. And I thought this is a man that's going to be very hard to convert. Very hard, because he was so dedicated to it.
My only interaction with him was face-to-face with him through his glass as he drove up during the Summer of Mercy
Right.
in 1991, when we were having those hundreds and hundreds of arrests outside of his abortion mill. He drove in one day, and I was this close to him, just
Right.
telling him, you're going to burn in hell, you repent, turn to Christ for forgiveness. If not, God is going to hold you accountable for the shedding of innocent blood. And he was just hard. He was hard as a rock. There was something so dark, so sinister there.
Well, he was convinced in his own mind that abortion was right.
They would
right.
baptize the dead babies there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they had a ritual. They would. That got out, and I think he wanted people to know that the babies were baptized right there in the abortion clinic right after he had aborted them.
Right.
These were late term.
Right. They would dress up. I'm sorry for those of you who find this very disturbing. In his advertisements for killing babies, he would tell people, he would do abortions right up to day of birth. I mean, so if a woman found out that she had a handicapped child and she did not want the child and wanted to kill the child, they had, if my memory is correct, it was an Episcopalian minister. Do you remember?
I'm not positive.
Okay, I don't want to misquote. They would abort the baby and then dress the baby in white baptismal garments and baptize this poor baby's dead body, and sometimes take pictures with the parents. This is how off the rails sinister and dark and demonic he was. And bragged about it, used it as an advertising tool.
Well, and you know, he worked in a church. He thought of himself as religious.
He was an usher in that church there in Wichita where he was killed in the foyer.
Right, yeah. I pray for Tiller, George Tiller, because, you know, the cab ride into New Orleans, I kind of got to like the guy. He was so effusive and dedicated and all. A terrible thing to be dedicated to, but it was there. It was a dedication that a medical person should have toward a patient.
Toward healing, though.
Toward healing. And his was for killing.